Hey there folks, how's it going? I know we've been casting quite a few 2v2s on the channel recently, and actually they've been doing pretty well, so here we go, we got another one. This was a submission, and apparently the first time ever playing this map for YZ. It's relatively nice, I do like this one. I believe it was in the 2v2 tournament not so long ago. The only problem is fucking tank traps as usual. Overused because they're one of the assets that kind of fits in on the urban terrain, but it screws over IG because you can't destroy them. Anyway, we've got Uphigh, DOW2. Going to be playing as some orcs. Korean orc player, veteran of the game. Mostafa is going to be playing as the Farseer. Eldar is his main. Vagrant Table here. I don't know Vagrant Table as a player, but he's going to be going for Eldar as well. Now he's opening up with double Guardians and he's laning into Mostafa, so he's going to have a pretty big advantage early on. I'd say Destructor's probably more helpful than Guide as well in those early fights, certainly between the Banshees. So that should definitely help Vagrant. Obviously Mostafa's going to be dropping gens earlier because of the extra requisition that he's got. And on the other side we've got YZ playing as the Bro Cap. He's going to be fighting the Commando Knob, so potentially could be quite good if he gets the Blessed Aegis to make his Bro Cap tanky, gets Interceptors. Can kind of bully the Commando Knob, since the Commando Knob has opted for double shooters rather than double sluggers. But a good little push here. Strike Squad and Banshees teaming up together in a 2v2 is pretty vicious in the early game. I mean, these are basically the best melee squads in any 1v1 fight that you can get access to. So yeah, trying to take them on when they're together in the early game, not going to go very well. So I like that play from the red team here. Now, they've spent more in their opening gambit here. You know, these squads of boys are roughly on par with costs with these IST. They're a little bit more expensive, but not that much more. Whereas the Strike Squad is way more expensive than any of these boys. So this is like 4 squads and a hero. I think the Bro Cap should probably stop chasing these. Well, I guess it's alright. The Strike Squad can just go into green cover and shoot. But it looks like they're going to get into retreat path, try and kill some of those sluggers. Is anything exciting happening over here? Not really. We got some rangers on the field from Mostafa. At the moment, just got their shuriken pistols, which will debuff the Banshees, make them take more damage. So yeah, certainly don't want to be having a duel with the enemy Banshees if there's rangers with shuriken pistols nearby shooting you. Farseer and Mostafa was just tanking for a bit. And it looks like we're going to have Ranger Wars over here. We've already got the long rifles on the Rangers of Vagrant. Double Rangers for Mostafa and long rifles coming up on one of the Rangers for Mostafa here. Now, Storm Boys have come out for Uphigh DOW, and that is going to obviously change this engagement. Power melee on these guys and a more HP than the Sluggers as well means they fare a lot better in Tier 1 against the Strike Squad than the Sluggers. Sluggers in Tier 2 will do very nicely with a Slugger Knob, because he's just a beast in melee. Do huge amounts of power melee damage, so he will do more damage than the Stormboy Knob. And the most important thing is that when you get the Slugger Knob, it increases the health of all the boys, as does the Burners. So now there's 2 power melee, and they've got more HP, but you'll see still less HP than the Stormboys, and the Stormboys are all power melee. So the Stormboys are still just better than the Sluggers, even with Burners. So Stormboys are really good against OM. Purgation are going to be the choice for YZ. I mean, that's okay, but you probably want to get a buff on your Bro Cap as well. Stormboys obviously are the counter here to the Purgation. But we'll see. Commander Knob really should be spending his time trying to bleed the ISC. The fact that YZ's gone for double ISC leaves him super vulnerable to being bled by that Commander Knob. And I like that Uphigh is not investing too much in his shooters, only going for big shooters, because really, shooters aren't very good against Ordo Malleus. Their strength is in their Grey Knights, not in their Stormtroopers, and the Grey Knights obviously are heavy infantry. Anyway, it looks like the Grey Knights are going to get a pretty easy bash there because Uphigh is a little bit out of position. He will rotate over, and then on this side it's just the little Ranger Wars. I'm not sure if Mostafa didn't see those Banshees, if they were infiltrated. I wasn't even paying attention. But just walked into them and got Scream suppressed, which is not ideal. And it looks like the one Ranger there of Vagrant actually managing to win the fight against the double Rangers, which is kind of crazy. And I don't think anything too exciting should be happening down there on the Eldar front. Looks like the Stormboy's got into melee with the Purgation, going to do quite well. We've got Mind Blades on the Strike Squad here. A Brother Captain buff. More damage, more melee skills. So these boys need to be very careful. Definitely could be seeing some special attacks here from the Strike Squad. Special attacks not even needed. Potentially going to be wiping the Slugger Boys. Yes, the focus fire here from the ICs is enough, but damn, that's a lot of DACA coming out of the Orcs. And they managed to kill the Strike Squad in tandem with the Stormboy. Stormboy's going to bleed a lot of models. Even the Brother Captain needs to be careful right now. I was going to say Commander Nob should probably just force melee. He does pretty reasonable damage in melee about on par with the Slugger Boy, and he has 100% fire on the move. So he's very good at chasing down enemies that are and killing them on retreat. So really good engagement there for Uphigh all around. I mean, yes, he lost the Sluggers, but enemy losing upgraded Strike Squad, way worse. So yeah, nice engagement there for Uphigh, and he's going to advance with his shooter boys onto this power farm. Now this power farm here is very, very hard to bash. It's on par with this power farm here. So the map isn't symmetrical in that regard. It's symmetrical like in a diagonal, not like across the way. And yeah, you can see the problem is that it's so far away. By the time his shooter boys made it here, the Grey Knights had fully healed and are back on the field. And obviously now the melee is gone for the Orcs, so they can't really achieve a whole lot here. But the Stormboys are back, and there's no Strike Squad, because they literally had to be repurchased, only coming back out now. A bit weird to jump the Stormtroopers, not the Purgation. Stormboy power melee going to kill another Purgation and retreat, and then they retreat themselves before they bleed. That's a nice little series of plays by Uphigh. Uphigh will do a lot better once he can get to tier 2 and get the knobs on his boys. Well, on his Stormboy. Weird Boy will help him out quite a lot as well. No significant losses here between either of our Eldar players, but it seems that Vagrant is actually getting the upper hand here of Mostafa. For whatever reason, I think perhaps good energy shield usage. Helping counter the double long rifle play of Mostafa. Now we're seeing the double shooter knobs coming out. Just going to pew pew the Strike Squad. Is that Tomes the Titan? Yeah. So Vagrant's already in tier 2, and all the rest of the players are on their way to tier 2. Full route here for the Ordo Malleus forces. Purgation need to back off. Banshee's going to take the mid. VP's quite in favour of the blue team right now. I guess Mostafa must have really had control of the mid VP, even though it seems he's been retreating from the fights. He apparently is doing very well with the VPs. So Banshee's attempting a flank, but yeah, spotted from a mile off and taking a lot of damage there from the long rifles with Guardian support. They couldn't have done much if they got into melee. So the Stormboy Nob is now on the field. Purgation just chilling. Not sure why the Farseer isn't running into melee here. I actually want to get a guide off on those Rangers, which are going to shoot the rear Guardians because they're not behind an energy shield. But yeah, good use of the energy shield here. Deters the Rangers. If that wasn't there, you know, these Guardians would be easy pickings for the Rangers. But the energy shield will eat a hell of a lot of long rifle shots. I'm talking like 50 of the fucking things. So yeah, obviously, Mostafa just disengages. That would take far too long. It's a waste of time and energy, keeping your Rangers infiltrated. Wisey's very obsessed with constantly attacking down this lane for the gens rather than pushing for the mid, and perhaps that is why they're struggling so much on VPs, the red team. But you'd think it would help them with a little bit of a power lead, but it hasn't really. I mean, we do see vehicles first for the red team. We've now got a Razorback here for the Ordo Malleus, and we've got a Wraith Lord here for Vagrant, but there's going to be a Wraith Lord for Mostafa as well. So a little bit later. Let's see if we can get a push from Vagrant here to Gen Bash before the Wraith Lord of Mostafa can get out and prevent any continuation of that bash. Probably not. Yeah, the Wraith Lord's already here for Mostafa. The Rangers are still in play. The two Rangers of Mostafa are going to try and force off the single Ranger here of Vagrant. Yep, kills one of the models. And that's that. And because Mostafa got his Wraith Lord second, he opted for the Bright Lance because he's seen that the enemy has a Wraith Lord. So that's going to be problematic as far as Wraith Lord duels go, but Vagrant is getting a Warp Spider squad to help out with that. Now on this side of the map we've got the Justice Car and the Strike Squad. That is a massive performance increase for them. Not only is he a really solid fighter, he increases the HP of all the other Strike Squad models. Sound familiar? Yep, he's basically the Sluggernob for the Strike Squad. So they go in and they push back the enemy Orcs. Tank Busters did arrive on the field, losing 2 models instantly. But yeah, they bought time and they didn't lose a model, so that was pretty nice play. It gave time for the Purgation to finish their little bash right now. A peculiar miss micro there though from Uphigh. I don't know why he was leading with his Commander on for so long and just let it get shot to death by the Razorback. But perhaps not the greatest situation here for the Razorback. It's going to get some pew-pew on these Storm Boys. Oh wow, kills the Knob. Yeah, I mean he was stood at the front eating a lot of damage there, getting hit by hotshot lasguns too. So nice little scoot and shoot play. It's very difficult for the Orcs to deal with a transport just with one source of AV. It's one of the biggest weaknesses of the Commander Knob. He doesn't have any transitional AV unlike the Walrus and the Mech Boy. Going to attempt to Gen Bash. What was that? That was... oh shit, that was the Banshees of Mostafa going for the decap on the natural here of the red team. And this is going to help the blue team get a little bit of a VP lead, but man, he loses his Banshees and then an Eldar mirror? That sounds pretty rough. I mean, just looking at the size of Vagrant's army right now compared to Mostafa's, Vagrant's army is way bigger. Having an extra Guardian, having Banshees and Warp Spiders for the cost of losing one Ranger, yeah, I think Vagrant's army is a hell of a lot better. Let's have a look at the gear. We've got Witchblade Kernus. Oh, that might have contributed to wiping the Banshees, actually. I'm not sure. Not going to be that useful now the Banshees are gone. It is mostly an anti-melee gear. Ranged units are just going to disengage from you. Mostafa has fully kitted out his Farseer. Going to attempt to go for the revive here. Looks like a Holofield just went down on the Wraith Lord to let it get into melee without... ooh, and a Doom. Can the Bright Lance on the Wraith Lord get the kill here? Yeah, it should do. One more shot. Boom. Come on. There we go. Nicely done. You can turn around and go for the IST as well, bleeding them. Oh, and Uphigh DOW2 just tech to tier 3 to get commandos via the call down. Very nice. Very nice. So that was a infiltrated hollow field Wraith Lord. I like that play. YZ thinks he killed Orc hard, but he didn't really, because the Orc got to tier 3. That's how it went so well for YZ, because the Orc invested barely anything in tier 2, just tank busters. But YZ's tier 3 as well, and the Grey Knight tier 3 is extremely strong. My god, Vagrant is going very heavy in tier 2. You see this quite often with Eldar though, because the Eldar tier 3 is not very good. But this is a big push right now. Orc and Eldar engaging the singular Eldar army here. We've got Doom on the Wraith Lord. The Bright Lance Wraith Lord is going to be engaging the Shuriken one. Fire Dragons are in play though. They're going to put out a good amount of damage to the Wraith Lord. Blue team should really prioritize getting rid of those Fire Dragons, and there they go, they're retreating. YZ is now coming over, but he's a little bit late, and that was a beautiful Spirit Stones there, healing up all the Orc boys. Wraith Lord still in play. No anti-vehicle, I don't think, for the red team here. Yeah, we just got a Beamer coming out on the Purgation, but the Storm Boy's jumping in. The Wraith Lord obviously can just tie this thing up. Strike Squad getting into melee with a ranged blob though. There's literally no anti-melee here. There's literally just a Farseer with a Doombringer. Okay, this Wraith Lord needs to be very careful. It's going to get hit by a Haywire Grenade, and now Fire Dragons are free to unload on it. Where did the Beamer go? Oh, it's all the way back there? Ah, yes. Able to outpace the Wraith Lord due to the snare from the Haywire, and that should be a dead Wraith Lord. Hit by the Beamer. What was that? They just died over here. Oh, that was the Wraith Lord of Vagrant died as well. That Shuriken Wraith Lord was in melee, presumably taken out by the combination of the tank busters and the rocket launcher on the Commando. And the brother captain even falls. Getting killed with a sync kill there from the Stormboy Knob. Very nice. Proving his value even though he was bleeding a bit early on. Losing the Stormboy Knob repeatedly. But in that case, slays the brother captain. Unfortunately, it will be kind of an easy revive. Oh no. No, he won't. Because the Warlock's dead. Oh, that's nice. That's good for the blue team. Yeah, Vagrant should definitely rebuy here because YZ is focusing on his tier 3, which is a lot more important for the Ordo Malleus. So the Eldar spending the wreck instead to get the revive, much more wise decision, I think. So yeah, Grey Knight Terminators are on the field here. That's going to be very hard to deal with for the blue team. A lot of their damage output right now is piercing. Piercing commandos, piercing shooters, piercing guardians, which have been completely unupgraded, so I guess they're useless. They're just being used as a capping unit. Long rifle rangers with their sniper damage, they will do okay against Terminators. They get bonus damage, but ultimately, you know, it's tickles of damage against the massive HP regen of Grey Knight Terminators. Already equipped with a Psy Cannon that's going to help versus any looted tanks or fire prisms that might present. Means that Mostafa's tier 3 is going to be quite questionable. I guess the only real viable choice would be the Seer Council. But again, they're not going to perform amazing against Grey Knight Terminators. They're still going to have to fight Howling Banshees, and they've still got to fight Warp Spiders. So they'll do okay against all those things, but it's not like a hard counter. And right now Mostafa basically has no army. He's got his Farseer and double ranges, so I don't know. It's tricky. I'm not sure why he isn't getting just like a Warlock in your Guardian squad. Like, it's such a massive effectiveness buff for a really cheap cost. I would definitely be getting that. Especially when he's got so few units. Anyway, he uses his global in order to call down the Seer Council instantly. So he does have them fleeting out of the base. Moving down. Witchblade of Kurnos is actually wasted there in an attempt to wipe the Farseer. If he got the Farseer, it wouldn't have been a waste, but he didn't, and now it means that he doesn't have anything to deal with the Warlock. Vagrant sees the Seers and is going to respond by going tier 3 himself. But yeah, Terminators will be able to manhandle the Seers for sure, especially with all this lasgun support from the Stormtroopers. We've got the Brother Captain. There's potential for Mind Blades as well here. This looks very scary because it's a massive amount of blue units, but honestly, there's not a lot that does that much damage to the Terminators. You've got the Stormboys and the Seer Council. But they're both so squishy compared to the Terminators. You know, drop Mind Blades on the Terminators, buff them with We Are the Hammer. He's got Bulwark as well now. And the Mantle of Terror to reduce his cooldown so he can spam more spells. I like this. So he's got the Nemesis Force Sword, so he's got an improved WAF. Okay, we've got the rocks coming down now. Okay, Paladins as well, Jesus. Double Terminators for YZ. Is the rocks going to do a whole lot? Not really. Not even going to wipe a IC squad, it appears. And now you've got both Terminators bullying this Stormboy squad. An attempted heal there from the Spirit Stones, but a little bit too late. Too many Stormboy models have been killed. Commandos potentially getting dropped by the Grey Knight melee. Strike squad were on them. Indeed, the Commandos are going to be falling. And that is a sound rout of the blue team forces right there. Uphigh DOW2 is going to be responding by getting the Nob squad out. The problem really is that he doesn't have much to support his Nob squad compared to the blue team. I mean, this Brother Captain's got some beautiful buffs here. So We Are the Hammer gets buffed when you get the Nemesis Force Sword. It says here improves We Are the Hammer. So I believe by default it's... Oh, I'm not even going to pretend to know. Is it 20% damage resist? It goes to 30% with the Nemesis Force Sword? I don't remember. But it gets better. And then he's got Bulwark, which you can drop on a squad, which gives them increased damage resistance and increased melee damage. So that's going to help them win any melee duels. And then in addition to that, he had the Mantle of Terror, which reduces his cooldowns and improves his energy economy. So then he can spam more Bulwarks and We Are the Hammers. Then he can use the Global to buff their melee skill and melee damage, Mind Blades. So yeah, you know, there's a lot of synergy here for the melee units to help them dominate something like Nobs from Uphigh. And because Uphigh is the Commando Nob, it's not like he's the War Boss, so he doesn't have UG Choppers, he doesn't have Mind Blades. It's not like he's the Mech Boy, so he doesn't have Battery Pack or the Super Tough Beam to support his Nobs. And that's probably why Uphigh has just gone, you know what, fuck it. Even knobs aren't going to beat these in melee. I'm going to go for a battle wagon. It's faster, the paladins won't be able to catch it, it's too quick. It's got a melter cannon on it, which will do really nice damage to the super heavy infantry. And I can just run them over. And I like that idea here from Uphigh. Probably is his best option. Now, the problem is it's going to take a very long time to come out, so we could be looking at quite a lot of VP bleed. Fortunately for the blue team, they had the VP lead from the early game, and, crucially, this VP here, the natural on this map, very easy to defend. So it's only a 2-to-1 cap. And in fact, red team are actually ceding a lot of ground here. The poke from the ranges and the fire prism, really pushing the red team back. To be fair, they don't have a proper way to deal with the fire prism. Fire prism's not super impactful on their own. Generally, you want to get a pair of them, and then they become brutal, because they kind of invalidate things like tanks, just get wiped out before they can even engage when you've got 2 fire prisms. And you can chain knockback infantry squads that aren't terminators and shut them down as well. Fire dragons have the dragon scale armor, which gives them weapon knockback immunity as well, so that's a bit of a pain. Can't knock them over, which is annoying given that they killed the fucking prism, but still, it's nice that he's got this long-range fire support. You see the rangers poking away at the terminators as well, so they've got these tools to chip away at them from a long distance. Now the battle wagon's out. You need to put something in the battle wagon though to improve its speed and activate all its guns. Yeah, busters should probably go in there. Not much of a job for him. You've seen there's no power up here, and there hasn't been for a while. Doesn't matter too much, I guess, at this point. That must have been the tank buster's job. Blue team, on the other hand, kind of need the power a lot more. Yeah, they definitely do. Avatar for Vagrant. This is actually quite a good opportunity for an avatar, because Vagrant's got such a wide Eldar infantry-based army right now, with spiders, dragons, and the banshees. The avatar buffing them up will be quite nice. But a lot of harassment tools here from Mostafa. Can guide them, make them do more damage and have more range. So it looks like the commander nob's going to rotate around the back and go for a decap on the natural. Honestly, not that much AV right now. You've got a beamer, which can be jumped by the Stormboys, or blasted by the big cannon on the battle wagon. It's going to rotate around the side anyway. Wow, look how fast this thing is with its full capacity. Really nice splash damage there on the Purgation. Stormboys can get out, everything unloads. But yeah, he doesn't really want to be unloading everything, to be honest. Bit of a... It's like an attempted pincer attack, but I feel like the sloppy engagement here just needs to force off the beamer, really. Here comes the big shot. Boom! That was a nice shot. Nearly wipes out that IST squad. Kills the beamer, hurts the fire dragons. But the thing is, the Warp Spider's got in and haywired the battle wagon to lower its speed. Now Paladin's trying to punch it down, but wow, that battle wagon, this is the power of the battle wagon. It is way too quick. Even with the haywire, the Paladin's barely able to output any damage onto that thing, and it disengages. Lots of orcs in this battle wagon. They need to get out and get fighting. I know the shooter boys aren't going to do that much against these Terminators and heavy infantry threats, but you know, they're not doing anything if they're hiding away in a battle wagon. They've got to do something. Knobs are on the field now as well. Wow, this game's insane. These players have got gigantic rosters. Mostafa maybe saving up for his own avatar. I actually think double fire prisms would be a great play for him right now. They've got the ranged advantage of blue team, and I think doubling down on that would go very well. Nice warp throw into a Wailing Doom there from the avatar, but a great reaction from Uphigh. Hits the frenzy just before the Wailing Doom can land. Basically negates most of that damage. I mean, it looks like they took no damage, which is rather odd. Oh, they got healed by the Spirit Stones afterwards, because Frenzy's only 75% damage resistance. But here we go, now we've got Providence activated on the Warlock, so he can spam his Ethereal Slash, and he gets immunity. I mean, nearly got killed there. He gets to retreat for sure. And a nice Grav Blade into Seer Council is not going to wipe the Guardian Squad. One of the Guardians gets away. But yeah, Strike Squad do not want to be engaging a Seer Council on their own. You can see they're getting absolutely smashed. Not sure about that mega cannon shot there from the battle wagon. That was a bit weird. That wagon probably wants to move up a little further. I just realised Uphigh has got no repair support right now. Probably wants to call in some grots. Drop a repair crew on them. Get repairing that battle wagon. We've just got this ongoing skirmish right now, but blue team definitely proving rather dominant. Vagrant apparently missing his rangers there. Going to let them get wiped by shooters. Or maybe that was intentional for pop. Let's have a look. Yeah, probably. Full pop. Also why he's not reinforcing these guardians. Really surprised to see the ineffectiveness here of the Terminators. Ah yes, Mostafa went for the double fire prisms, I like this. Because they've got the range dominance, so you're just getting more and more chip power from long distance. Put them both on focused mode and just chip away at these paladins and Terminators. Scouting with the rangers. So D-Cannon's the play of choice here from Vagrant, that's why he sacrificed his own rangers. It's a little unfortunate because you kind of want rangers to sight for your D-Cannon to exploit its own range, but what can you do? Rocket launcher in the better combat kit on the commando knob. Not really sure why he's got a rocket launcher, to be honest. Guess all of his weapons are not very good against Terminators. Still no battle equipment on the Guardians, I found that so weird. They're just going to get wrecked, might be intentional. Surely not, because he needs repairs for the prisms. Oh, that's one dead prism, got caught by the Warp Spiders, too slow to respond here from Mostafa. Oh, there is a time field though, but yeah, not going to help. Fire Dragons have got too much fire on the move damage. Going to take out one of the prisms. Very slow rotation. No rotation really from YZ. Oh, because YZ is just fighting in the natural here. He wipes something. What's he wiping? Is that Guardian? Yeah, that's the Guardian squad wipe. The remnants of it. They were running around with very low models anyway, for the purpose of pop. And another D-Cannon coming for Vagrant. Well, I mean, yeah, they pushed Mostafa off, but Mostafa honestly didn't have much of a standing army anyway. It's basically just got the Seers and the Farseer. Everything else is long-range fire support. And they wipe one of the prisms. Oh, Warp Spiders are going to get screwed here. They need to get out. They need to get out. Oh, absolutely murdered there by the fire prism in the end. That's kind of sad. Without that haywire, he's probably going to struggle with taking out the fire prism now. Ultimately, that's why the first fire prism went down, because he got snared by the haywire grenade. Okay, Stormboys need to get out. Where's that battle wagon? Still just chilling over here. Beamer's setting up to try and disrupt it, but the fire prism's right there. So that's not going to work. So here come all the orcs. Really surprised we still don't have any grots to repair the battle wagon. Feels like, you know, this thing should really be full HP at this point. So here comes the Wailing Doom. Clips a couple of the Seers. I don't know what that was. Why you used a levitation blade at that point. It's a nice impact grenade. And a levitation ability from the Terminators. Avatar getting some chops in, but taking a lot of damage as well. You know, you've got tank busters here. The knobs are obviously chopping away at this Avatar. You've got a nice Spirit Stone's heal on the knobs as well. Banshees losing a lot of HP, get taken out. Holy Ground activated now. Gonna buff the speed of the Terminators, debuff the speed of the nearby enemies, including the Orcs. Terminators ripping the knobs to pieces. Did they just wipe them? Oh my god, they did. Wow. Have they got the buff on them? They must do, right? Yeah, they got Bulwark. And is that Mind Blades as well? I'm not sure, but they definitely had one buff. Those guys went crazy. Yeah, get your boys out again, get fighting. Every little bit of damage counts, even if it is piercing. Using his Battle Rights ability, a bit of healing over time there for the Terminator variants. And Paladin is just going to be going forward to zone away the battle wagon. Obviously can't actually capture it. Gonna be an avatar for Mostafa now. Fire Prism for Vagrant. But red team recovered really well here though, killing the knobs and hurting the battle wagon so much. Snared now by the beamer. So Paladin's getting to melee and that's why he uses this ability. But yeah, I don't know, I mean, I'm really confused as to why YZ didn't get the grots earlier to repair this damn thing. The battle wagon, it appears to me, has been doing very well. But it's just slowly got chipped away at by AV over the course of the game. Can he deposit his boys? Force melee on the D cannon? It's slow to do so, really. Now Fire Prisms on the field can start chopping away at this Orc battle wagon. No, misfiring though, rather shooting the commandos. One D cannon gets wiped here by the Seers, but these Seers are very low on HP, they need to get out. Paladins have pushed forward, they're getting melee hits on the battle wagon, rear armor hits. Fire Prism needs to be microed, they teleport forward. Oh, they might take it out here, the Paladins. Very close, one more hit. Yeah, they're going to get it. Bang, dead Fire Prism. Now the Paladins and the Avatar can push on the battle wagon. That thing has to leave. But Mostafa's Avatar in the middle, very isolated right now. Definitely does not want to be taking on Grey Knight Terminators in melee. Disrupt him with his abilities here, the IST preventing them from capping. But yeah, the other IST are going to take over while the Grey Knights focus on the Avatar, and they really will rip up that Avatar very fast. You can see how long the Paladins here have been delaying this battle wagon. Just only having piercing DPS is not good enough. It's taking way too long to kill this thing, even with the melter from that cannon and the battle wagon. The battle wagon obviously not known for its firepower potential. It's all about speed and durability. And just gonna delay. What? That was a really weird orbital bombardment. But it works. Paladins are gonna get the wipe on the battle wagon. Lots of bleed inflicted onto the Orc army here. Does he actually have the energy for a teleport? He's got the Holy Ground, which is buffing his speed, debuffing the enemies. I don't think he does have the teleport energy, or he would have used it, you would have imagined. But I'm noticing webway gates and the natural here for the blue team. And I'm also noticing the red team clinging on with very few VPs right now. Very few VPs, but pretty dominant armies, to be honest. Fire Prism here should be going on to disperse mode and just knocking over all these orcs. Oh wow, look at that special attack there from the Warlock. Sending all the knobs flying. And a warp throw to disrupt them, send them away. The Farseer is going to jump onto the cap. It is a 0-0 cap in favour of the red team. I think they're going to win this on 12 VPs. Force Razorback appears at the end here, but just going to get nuked straight away by Tank Busters and Commandos and Fire Prism, but there's not enough time. The gate over here was detected by something and taken out by these Grey Knight forces. Nothing's capping. Nothing can cap. Vagrant's Avatar sacrificing itself there to try and delay for longer. Yeah, there's no time. Indeed. The Grot's right. No time there for the blue team. They made a bit of a comeback in terms of the military at the end, but obviously the red team were intentionally throwing their units at the enemy to stop them from being able to cap, so nice performance there. I really think if Uphigh just got some grots, this battle wagon, I felt like it was sat here atop these stairs for so long idle. That whole time grots could have been repairing it, you know, and then it would have had a lot more HP. And these hero paladins, as YZ said, wouldn't have been such heroes, delaying the entire Orc army. Also a significant lack of melee DPS when you're fighting Ordo Malleus is a problem, because you just can't kill these Terminators with piercing. It's impossible. It's impossible. These commandos and shooters just not good enough in the late game, unfortunately. Shooters, I felt like putting some crazy work in tier 2, surprisingly. But yeah, I don't know. You need more melee. But the other problem is he had nothing to support like the Nob squad because he didn't have a Weird Boy or a Pain Boy, which is something to consider. But it's also kind of a problem of playing Commando Nob. If he was Mech Boy or War Boss, his Nobs would have probably done a lot better. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed that, folks. A little bit of 2v2 action for you. That is all for your boy Torpid today, and I am signing out.